Hello Brainerds, my name is Jay, so welcome to the Big Brain Busters. So in this video we are going to cover stages of cleavage, and we are further going to talk about blastocyst formation. Also, don't forget to check out our other videos on embryology and other courses. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Okay, so to talk about the cleavage stage, as we know that fertilization occurs when the ova gets fertilized by a sperm cell, and then next thing will form a zygote. Now that zygote, in the form of gestation, it has to undergo a series of mitotic divisions, and that series of mitotic division is what we call cleavage stage. Cleavage stage can be divided into three sub stages, which are known as the compaction stage, the morula stage, and the blastocyst stage. So to look at these stages in detail, we'll start with, first of all, after fertilization, you know that we'll have two cells at once. And these two cells, the next thing is that it will divide to form a three-cell stage, in which this large cell will divide into two cells, and then it will form three cells. Then the next thing is that there will be a four-cellular stage, in which this smaller cell will divide as well. Then the next thing is that these four stages, since it is mitosis, so it will divide and form what? 8 cells. Okay, so now this whole process from the third cell stage to 8 cell stage is known as the compaction stage. And what is happening is that these cells will also, there will be formation of some tight junctions and gap junctions. The tight junctions are just there to prevent cells from entering into, to prevent substances from entering into and leaving the cells. Okay, then the gap junctions are just there for nutritional communication. So there will be different exchange of substances using gap junctions. So this whole stage is known as the compaction stage. Now let's talk about the morula stage. The morula stage is a 16-cell stage, of which the 8 cells will divide mitotically to produce 16 cells, and this occurs in the second to third day. Now at this stage, this whole structure looks like a mulberry and hence attains the name morula. Now what is happening during this morula stage is that you will notice a whole group of outer cell masses which are surrounding an inner cell mass. Okay, but this outer cell mass will actually form the future trophoblast, and the inner cell mass will form the future embryoblast. Now, as you can see, I have put these round structures around them. These are known as the zona pellucida. Okay, the zona pellucida in both of these stages, it is still what? It is still present. Okay, so this is just simply a diagrammatic presentation of what I'm talking about, from 2-cell stage to 3-cell stage to 4-cell stage, then compaction of the cells. Okay, so now let's talk about the last stage of cleavage, which is the blastocyst stage. As we know that from the morula stage, which is 16-cell stage, the cells will continue to divide mitotically, and then it will reach at a point where there will be 32 to 64 cells. And this stage is known as the blastocyst stage, and it occurs on the 4th to 5th day of gestation period from the day of fertilization. This is a diagrammatic presentation of what I am going to talk about. As you can see, from what you can see here, I'm going to explain. So what is happening during the blastocyst stage is that there is fluid invagination from the uterine cavity into the morula. Now remember, I had told you to say there were some cells that were surrounding the inner cell mass, and we called those cells as the future trophoblastic cells, or the outer cell mass. So now what is happening is that as fluid is entering, these trophoblastic cells will start becoming flattened, and then there will be formation of a cavity known as the blastocyst cavity or blastocore. Okay, blastocore. Then this inner cell mass will be connected to one part of the trophoblast, and this part which is connected to the trophoblast is known as the polar trophoblast. Okay, and this part of the trophoblast which is not connected to the inner cell mass is known as the neurotrophoblast. Then this spore which contains the inner cell mass will be known as the embryonic pore, and this pore which does not contain the inner cell mass will be known as the abembryonic pore, and the inner cell mass can now be called as the embryoblast. Okay, so now take note that we still have our zona pellucida around this structure, but take note here I've just made a mistake. This structure or this blastocyst is not supposed to be connected to the zona pellucida. Why? This is because the zona pellucida contains very violent cells that contain proteolytic enzymes that can digest any structure that they come in contact with. So the zona pellucida, one of the functions, remember, before fertilization was simply for attachment of the sperm cell, or in short, for binding of the sperm cell, and also for signaling of the sperm cell. Then now, in this case, after fertilization, this zona pellucida, the function is simply to prevent unnecessary implantation in any wrong region. Okay, so since it is preventing unnecessary implantation, so remember that fertilization occurs in the ampulla of the fallopian tube, and as that structure of the fertilized ova continues to transition from the ampulla to the uterine cavity, it is not supposed to implant itself until it reaches the uterine cavity, so that it can implant in the normal site. The normal site of implantation is simply the posterior superior part of the fundus of the uterus. Okay, so that is where implantation should occur. So meaning that the zona pellucida prevents that kind of implantation in any wrong in any wrong region until it reaches the uterine cavity. So now when it reaches the uterine cavity, what happens is that there is thinning of the zona pellucida. This zona pellucida now starts to degenerate, and it allows for the trophoblastic cells to attach themselves to the uterine wall. Okay, so this occurs from the 6th to 7th day of attachment. This occurs on the 6th to 7th day of what? Of gestation period. So in short, implantation occurs on the 6th to 7th day. Alright, so I hope that makes sense. Then this is simply just a whole summary of what I've created, so that you understand how a blastocyst is actually formed. So this is what I'm from explaining. You can go through the picture by pausing the video and then see if it makes sense. Okay, so this is where we end our video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to watch our other videos, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and please drop a comment in the comment box so that I may know what you think about this video and anything else. With that being said, we end this video here. Shalom shalom.